wrong. The red planeswalker has been shown to be the more emotional, the more irrational, the more likely to die planeswalker than all the other ones. It doesn't make any sense at all. For instance, you have Xenagos. Xenagos was this great idea for a red planeswalker. He was red-green. He was the party planeswalker. He was the guy that showed up and he literally used his magic to make everybody else a lot more happy. How does he end up? He gets stabbed by the godsend. And he winds up dead. And not just dead, he is erased from existence. Existence! By Xenagos getting stabbed in Nyx, which is like the fancy fairy dust world of Theros, he winds up just being erased from everything. Elspeth, yeah, she dies too, I guess, but she winds up in the underworld. She's gonna come back. We all know she's coming back. It's probably gonna happen in the next 2 years, but the point is, Xenagos is completely obliterated while Elspeth gets off with just a minor death. Next up, Dack Fayden. To be honest, Dack Fayden is basically more blue as far as the thief part goes, and that because of the fact that he planeswalks and lands 4 feet above the ground, that's what makes him red. The fact that he's a goofball, the fact that he's not the best thief ever despite thinking he is, that's what makes him red. The bad parts of Dack Fayden are the red parts. That doesn't seem fair now, does it? Well, there's another part of him that's red, the fact that he dies. Dack Fayden is there and he's doing his thing and he's got a sword and he thinks he's all cool and stuff because he's red, and then of course because he's red he gets grabbed by an Eternal and then killed basically immediately. Out of all the named characters, you got him that dies and you got Gideon that dies. Gideon's death is super noble, super epic, and super awesome because he's Gideon, but fun fact, Gideon should be white-red, but because of the fact that he's supposed to be the super noble, never angry kind of guy, he's not red! He has no red, he's just mono-white, and he dies and he's mono-white, but his final card, which is red-white, shows him happy. He could be happy and still be red. It's right there, but it's not. He's mono-white, because of course he is. Oh yeah, that reminds me, another red planeswalker died in War of the Spark, Domri Raid. And Domri Raid, he could have been anything. He could have been just like this little kid who we get to see grow up to become an actual individual with like respect and with ability and with power. But instead, he's this teenager that just winds up thinking he's like, oh, I'm the best. Actually, he doesn't even say it like that. He's like, oi, I'm the best, because he's British apparently, out of nowhere. Guess it's because he's red, and he dies almost immediately. He's like, oi, dragon. And dragon's like, Bolas, who also dies, by the way. I'll get to that. Bolas just, and he's gone. Domri is gone. He's dead. He's out of there because he's red. So Bolas technically isn't dead. He's more dead than Elspeth though, since he literally cannot do anything. He might as well be dead. Next up, we got Lord Windgrace. He's red, green, black, and the fact that he's got the red in him must obviously mean he's going to die. Yeah, we got Freyalise and we got Sarah, and they also died, but Sarah and Freyalise both sacrificed themselves in a heroic manner. I guess Lord Windgrace did too, but that's beside the point. The point is, he's red and he's dead. So that brings us with 4 white dead planeswalkers, and 1 green dead planeswalker, and then 5 red dead redemption planeswalkers. Now, I know what you're thinking. Yeah, but we got a bunch of red-green planeswalkers. We got a bunch of different kinds of planeswalkers. Well, that's another thing. Who's the main character of Magic? Jace! Yeah, it's Jace. Jace is blue. Who's the other one? Gideon. Gideon is white. Yeah, maybe Chandra has some kind of spotlight. It's not like they're going to make another core set with her as the main character and give her 3 different planeswalkers. The point is, as a result of the fact that white and blue are the colors of order and law, or law and order, means that they're the ones that are the more important and the more likely to be good. Instead, red is the I'm Xenian, chaos-oriented, and as a result, they wind up blowing themselves up. Well, we also have some red characters that are kind of just thrown in there so that we have more representation. We got Tybalt, and Tybalt, he's there, and he's like this pain mage, and he's real dapper, and he's like, oh, I am a pain mage. I am going to just torture you because it's fun. And I guess that would make sense if he had red-black in his identity, but he's just mono-red, because apparently mono-red is good enough to be a torturer. I don't see very many red cards mentioning torture. Then, of course, we could talk about characters like Rowan, or Ren, or Arlen. These are all 3 red planeswalkers that were basically just kind of thrown in, and we're like, they exist. Cool, right? And then nothing ever happened after that. They haven't gotten anything. Ren literally just appeared, but they could at least give us something, right? It's a dryad. Dryads are cool and new and fancy, and maybe we could get something cool out of that. But no, they just kind of exist. Instead, we're going to get another comic entirely about Chandra, because obviously we can only have one good red planeswalker, right? Saheeli, Angrath, and Samut. These are 3 red planeswalkers that I kind of like. They're pretty cool. Angrath, he's a Minotaur dad. He's a pirate Minotaur dad, and that's really, really cool. But then they just decided that all of his cards have to do with him being angry and flinging his rip of fire and chaininess all over the place, because obviously that's what he's good for. Not the fact that he's a loving father who wants to do what's best for his Minotaur daughters. No, it's because he can blow stuff up with a chain. Samut is basically really cool because she is from a plane that is literally dying, but that's the reason she's probably red. Otherwise she'd be green-white. She just wants vengeance on Bolas. We haven't seen anything afterwards of her nurturing nature that is coming from the red part of things. So then we got Saheeli. Saheeli is red-blue. Cool. Well, she's basically just supposed to be there as a partner for Chandra or for Huatli. Ooh, Huatli. Oh, Huatli. Why, Huatli? Why? Well, let's talk about Huatli. Huatli is supposed to be red-white, but instead of being red-white, she's green-white. You know why? It's because she found her form of peace. She used to be a warrior poet, and she was like, you know what, forget that. I'm going to be the Radiant Sun instead, a Radiant Champion. Because obviously, if you're going to become good and like calm and just heroic individual, you gotta be white-green. There's none of that red nonsense in there because red is too unpredictable. Now, while Huatli lost her red, then we can also talk about the 2 characters in particular that get to me because they gained red, which usually, from my point of view, that's pretty awesome. I love it when we get a new red planeswalker. But the problem is that the only reason we have these guys as red planeswalkers is because they're angry. Angry red planeswalkers. That's what this is all about, isn't it? Angry means red. You're upset. You're vengeant. You're a harbinger of doom. It's because you're red. We can look at the original red-white planeswalker himself, Ajani. Ajani is mono-white, apparently, and then he's white-green. But, you know, there was that one time where his brother died, and he got really upset, and he became vengeant. Well, that made him red-white. He just suddenly gains red as a color, and then it's gone after he's done with that particular phase of his life. He becomes white-green, and he's wise. And yeah, you could be red, and you could be a mentor. Why is it that he's just white-green? It's not like we have any red mentors, right? Nahiri, the red-white representative. Of course, she's angry because Sorin made her upset. They got into a little kerfuffle, and as a result, she decides she wants to destroy an entire plane. She is the harbinger of doom itself. Oh no! Her fight continues, and she's fighting against Sorin, and Sorin is white-black. And so we got this one person that has that white with the enemy black, and then white with the enemy red, and because of that, they're clashing with each other, but they should be friends, because white and black and red and white are not that different. You know what makes them different? Red is chaotic. Red is angry. Red is ready to get in a fight with whoever decides that they want to fight them. So, we got about, I'd say, 21 different red planeswalkers currently. Not counting Urza, of course, because Urza's silver bordered. The thing is that, actually, let's talk about Urza. You got Urza. Urza's super cool. He's like the person who started everything off as far as the Phyrexian War, and he's been pervasive. He's gone through Karn, and he's created all these other problems and stuff that are all there. But you know what? Urza's 5 colors. Urza has shown he has rage, he has guilt, he has all sorts of different things that make him 5 color. But you know what? They just threw out the green and the white and the black and the red because he is now mono blue, and he needs to be mono blue because blue is the best, because red isn't good enough for Urza apparently. We have an Urza card and he's 5 colors, but they got rid of that. They just throw it out because why not? There are 5 planeswalkers I do want to talk about that are red that I believe are really, really good. Really, really well done planeswalkers. Duretti. Duretti's pretty great. He's literally a goblin in a Spider-Mech wheelchair. And that's pretty epic to me. I love that. I love that design. Well, the thing about Duretti is that he's basically just become an anarchist. They did this by showing that he got a little bit of black added into him because he's just an iconoclast now. He just wants to blow stuff up. And yeah, cool, okay, sure. But what else about him? He used to be an inventor. He used to have like these grand ambitions to make the world a better place. But no, because he was red, he was on a slippery slope and he wound up red-black terrorist mode. That doesn't make much sense to me. Does it make sense to you? Koth is cool. Koth he has the same abilities as Nahiri, but he doesn't have white. He's got red, and he's happy to be red. He's mono red. It's not like he's suddenly going to become red-white because when we return to New Phyrexia, that's the color of the Mirran Resistance, and he represents the Mirran Resistance or anything. He's just mono red. He's really cool, and he's got the stones jetting out of his body, and he's in the Phyrexian arena, and he's fighting, and he's doing all that cool stuff. I mean, that's awesome. That is the best. That's a good design for a red character. Yeah, he's an elementalist like Nissa, but he's not green, he's red. Yeah, they kind of forced him to be just mountain-based, but he's still red, and he has a well-rounded personality. He's not just blow stuff up. He has a sense of duty, a sense of, like, he has to return to his people. He has to help them. He could leave. He could run away from Phyrexia, but he doesn't. And that love, that familial understanding, that's what is good about this particular red planeswalker. I just wish we saw more of him. Ralzarek. Ralzarek is the leader of the Azet, and we just had War of the Spark, and they kind of gave him a pretty good spotlight. And he showed off both red and blue aspects of his character. He showed a great deal of caring towards Tomek. That was great. And they did a whole bunch of other stuff. But if you look at his picture in the War of the Spark artwork, his face is contorted and full of lightning and just death and destruction. Why does he have to look like that? He could have the same smug face as before. Sure, just blow stuff up with lightning and it's really cool and unlimited power, all that stuff. He could do that. Okay, now, I'm sure most of you have already probably mentioned this, and like you've said it, you've thought it, you had the passing idea that maybe I'm leaving 2-ish planeswalkers out. I could be. Oh yeah, Chandra, she's this huge, she's the red planeswalker representative. She is as red can red. And I mean, her entire story arc has been about how she's an impulsive child. And she came from Kaladesh where she blew up stuff instead of building stuff like she was supposed to. And then she just kind of shows up and she returns. She calls it a revolution because of course that's what Red would do. And she winds up actually finding her mom, and I guess it's kind of really nice. There's a cathartic reunion there. And then there is also the fact that she winds up like finding her mentor, who is Jaya. Jaya is a red planeswalker. Red planeswalker that's really nice actually. Jaya is a great example of a good red planeswalker. She's had the full arc. She understands the importance of self-control, which is still red because it's controlling your emotions, not suppressing them. It's finding a way to constructively use them. She's she's old, meaning she survived. She didn't wind up dead like all those other red planeswalkers. I guess Jaya's a really, really good red planeswalker. But that kind of just destroys my entire argument. That kind of makes it so that all of what I just said is completely irrelevant. I mean, yeah, I mean, a Johnny could still be red, green, white, I guess. Well then. Oh, we're still rolling. I'm still upset about a Johnny!